is Alice Wallace. This is Tom Bremer. We're going to be doing a song off of my new album. This one's called If I Knew.
Things might have been. If I knew what I know, if I knew how it feels to sit here next to you while you sit at the wheel, that I have held you the way that you needed, the way that you wanted me to, when I have loved you the way I wanted to. If I knew what I know, if I knew how to be something more to you, something true to me, if I knew what I know, then all of those things were said in times of pain. It didn't really mean when I have told you the things that you needed, the things that you wanted me to, when I have loved you the way I wanted to. If I knew what I know, if I knew all this then, would I have changed it all, the way things might have been?
What's going on? We're hanging out here with Alice Wallace. Alice, how you doing today?
I am doing just fine, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So we'll be premiering a song that you just played with us in a little bit, but so excited for what's on the new album that's releasing when?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
So excited for it, especially if what we just heard has any kind of indication of what we can expect on the album.
Well, hopefully it does. Yes, it should be even better because it's fully produced, has a full band. I'm really excited. You know,
Yeah.
it's been quite the adventure. Releasing an album is a lot of work, and it's so much build up, and I'm so excited just to get it out in the world, let everybody hear it, and
Great.
all the work that the talented guys in the band and the producer and I guess myself
Everybody else first.
have put into it. So I'm really excited.
Nice.
Nice.
And what's the name of the album?
It's called 1,000 Miles from Home.
Okay.
I titled that after the last song that I wrote for the album as I was preparing all the songs for it. And because I've spent a lot of time on the road in the last couple of years doing just kind of self-booked tours, I've gone as far as Chicago, and just a lot of those experiences are what made the album what it is. So
Cool.
I felt like it was a good title.
Yeah, it seems appropriate.
It does.
Nice.
Now, I was a pretty big fan of your previous album, Sweet Madness, and I loved how it sounded. I understand you went to a new studio this time around and you worked with a new producer.
Yes.
If you could tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely, yeah. My first album I recorded in Long Beach at the Compound Studio with Anthony Arvisu, who's very talented. I had a great time. It was my first real professional recording experience, so I felt like I learned a lot. And but then, I'd heard a lot about John O'Brien just around Orange County. He has the Music Box Studios in Tustin, and he's been recording many of the successful bands in Orange County, and so I'd heard a lot of his stuff, and I just, I went and started talking to him. I said, what do you think of my songs? And he was on board right from the start. So
Cool.
it felt like a really good partnership. When we were in the studio, we just seemed to have a lot of the same ideas. If he had an idea, I pretty much always liked it.
Yeah.
And for the most part, he kept the songs sounding the way I came in. Playing them, just enhancing them. And so I really am proud of how these recordings came out, and I feel like he did a great job. Putting his talents in there as well.
What kind of influences are coming from this album? Did you stick with your roots in the country folk realm like you did from Sweet Madness?
Yeah, and I would say even more so.
Yeah.
With Sweet Madness, it was my first album, but I had been writing songs for 10 years by the time I put it out. So it's kind of a mix and match collection of songs, whereas these songs I wrote in the last 2 years, when I have been listening even more to the kind of, the influences, which are mostly kind of 60s and 70s sort of folk and country,
Sure.
Emmylou Harris, Patsy Cline, Linda Ronstadt, and more recently people like Patty Griffin and Brandi Carlile are probably my biggest influences. And
Cool.
So I feel like these songs reflect that even more. I feel like they're a little more cohesive in the way they have come out, just because they're they were all written in the same basic time frame.
Right,
Whereas Sweet Madness was kind of a greatest hits of my first 10 years of songwriting.
Nice. How many tracks are on the new one?
There are 10 tracks.
10 tracks. So you went the full length on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Because I even had to cut a few songs, because I did wait 2 years after putting out the first album. I had plenty of songs to choose from.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get as many of them on there as I could within my budget, and so we settled on 10. And I think we picked a really good set of 10 songs that just are. They mix well together.
Cool.
So
Really cool.
I wanted to ask you, the last time I saw you live was around the time, I can't believe it's been so long, the OC Music Awards, when you played that. And I remember distinctly hearing a classic blues song. Now, is that, can I expect that kind of thing on the album as well? Are we going to hear a little bit of blues on there from now and again?
yeah, definitely. I mean, when I describe my music, I usually say country, folk, and blues.
Yeah.
I have trouble just settling on one. And, they are all kind of roots Americana music. And, those terms at least kind of encompass all of those for the most part. So, probably the song you heard at the OC Music Awards is on the album. I have a song called Even LA that's pretty straightforward blues. We tried to make it sound maybe a little more on the Americana side, just so it would mesh with the album a little bit.
Yeah.
But, so it's not like a gritty, bluesy as it could be.
Right.
But it's still definitely a blues song.
Cool.
So I've got a
Great.
couple that are definitely blues, a couple that are really country, and then quite a few that are kind of just in the middle, kind of folky country,
I
a
heard like a
mixture.
ragtime soundy on like on I think it was track 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I loved it. They
Yeah,
got the piano going there and the sort of thing.
Oh yeah, it was a little like honky tonky.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm excited because I have a new player on this album, adding to my already talented band.
Yeah.
Nice.
His name's Jeremy Long, and he played the keys, and he played pedal steel, and also some accordion on some of the
Wow,
songs.
that's
So
awesome.
it really just kind of adds a whole other level of texture to the songs, and so I'm really excited about how it all came out.
Now, who were you performing with? Who appears on the album this time around?
This is still my original band from
Cool.
Sweet Madness. I've got Tom Bremer on guitar
Right.
and Neil Patton on bass, upright mostly, and then Evan Maloney on drums. And then we brought in Jeremy Long to do some extra, lots of different instruments. He also
Beautiful.
did some organ.
Cool.
And then even John O'Brien,
Yeah.
the producer, played some little things here and
he
there.
he always makes a cameo on every album somehow.
Yeah,
so.
you know, kind of in the mixing process,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
listening to a song and you're like, it should have an organ track back there. And so he's like, hey, okay, let's go do
And
it.
he just hops on and plays it.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It worked out to kind of just fill in the missing pieces
Yeah.
at the end. So, yeah, really excited.
Great. I
Correct.
assume you're going to be promoting this with some shows and what have you. Is there going to be an official release show extravaganza blowout? What's going to
Of
happen?
course, of
All
course.
right, all
You
right.
gotta have a blowout extravaganza.
Of course, of course.
So yeah, we actually just settled on a date at Detroit Bar in Costa Mesa
Cool.
on Tuesday, November 5th.
Beautiful.
So that'll be the official launch party there. So I'm very excited about that. We're gonna have Michael Rosas, who has been in
Excellent musician.
the Orange County music scene for a
Yep,
while now,
yep.
and is
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
Yep.
And then a new band that I have not had the pleasure of seeing yet. They're named Me in the City.
Cool.
They're going to be playing as well as another artist named Foley.
Foley.
So yeah, so it's going to be a good lineup. Going to be fun. Get the CDs out there. I'll have my brand new Alice Wallace T-shirts, of which
Oh, yeah,
I am
yeah.
modeling
Can we get-
one.
let's get a close-up
Country
on
folk and blues.
Yeah.
I have to be
Just like she said.
my own walking advertisement here. So we'll have the T-shirts and the stickers, and yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
I was wondering if you could just give maybe some tips or tricks or hints or whatever you want to call it for people who are on the verge of wanting to be in the Orange County music scene or just pursuing music in general.
that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring that out. But a lot of it has to do with just getting out there, playing shows, and also just going to other people's shows to meet the other musicians who are in the scene, to just be a part of it. And I sometimes it's hard to fit all of that in there. But just getting out as much as you can is really key. And I've started doing a lot more touring, just because I find going into new markets is really exciting.
Yeah.
And just getting to play new places, and especially since I play kind of more country, Americana, folk, which I find that if I take it to Arizona or Colorado, it's a huge hit.
Oh,
so
yeah.
and Orange County has a great music scene. It's not quite as much centered on country music, so I feel like sometimes taking my music elsewhere, maybe it fits a little better in the market, but I still have a great time playing around here. The music scene and the people involved in it out here are all very, very welcoming to every musician that wants to be a
Yeah.
part of it. So, yeah, it's all about just getting out there and doing your thing.
All right. And
No,
figuring it out along the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you just mentioned you played outside of the state and you found a lot of success there. Any places in particular besides the Arizonas and the Colorados out there that really took to what you were doing? Because you were on the road for a while, I know. And
Yeah.
so how far out did you go, and where were the hot spots for you?
Yeah, my big summer tour, we went through Arizona and hit Albuquerque in New Mexico. We went through I think 6 or 7 cities in Colorado, and then even went up into southern Wyoming.
Wow.
I had a great time up
Yeah,
there. It was
yeah.
like cowboy town, where we went to Laramie, Wyoming.
Is this
and
with your entire band too?
that was just with my upright bass player. We
Okay.
did just a duo tour. So, at least economically, it's a lot more feasible to just go on the road with 2 people as
Right,
opposed to
yeah.
getting a whole van and just,
However, your upright bass players carry around another human-sized instrument with them.
This is true. Although we managed to fit in my little Mazda 3, just the bass had to sit in the front seat.
Oh, come on.
And so all the way to Wyoming and back, one of us was in the back seat.
So he was your chaperone.
Yeah.
It's a little chaperone of the
Chauffeur.
other. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the right
Yeah,
word.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, we
man.
took turns chauffeuring each other, and but it worked. You do what you gotta do to get your music out there.
There you
And
go. There
It's
you
not
go.
as glamorous of a lifestyle
Yeah.
touring, at least at this level.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun. It's what I want to be doing. I quit my job in March to do this full time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I figure if I'm not playing a show, I should be promoting it, or I should be doing something. It's my job now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm just doing as much as I can
great.
to get things going.
Alice Wallace, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and playing some music for us.
Well,
Thank
thank you for having me.
Cool. We'll see you. When is the show?
No.
Just do it again.
November 5th
That's
at
right.
Detroit Bar.
There we
Alright.
go, the shameless plug.
Yeah, there it is. Very
Can't do it
shameless.
too much.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Good luck to you, and we'll be seeing you in November.
Wonderful.
Cool.
See you there.
All right.
We're going to be doing a little song from my new album. It's called Oh So Sweet. It's a love song that I wrote at the laundromat. Here we go.